Welcome to the Lucha Lounge. I'm your host, Steve DeMarco. I hope everybody's enjoying their day, their weekend. Royal Rumble gonna happen probably in a few hours after this is released, at least in video form. Of course, the podcast will be released on Monday, so yeah, we'll kind of see how it goes. I will be talking about the Royal Rumble, some of the build-up, and some of my thoughts on where they could potentially go. And I'll cover some of the stuff that I've enjoyed over the past week. But first, some good news. I really wanted to start with some really great news. The Victoria Cantu case, the murderer of Victoria Cantu, my friend Greg Cantu's daughter, who passed away on January 4th. Her killer was found and I believe charged and being held currently thanks to the social media campaign and press conference and people coming forward. So those that came forward with information, thank you very much. You know, hashtag Justice for Victoria. So I'm very happy that that happened, that news came about. It broke, I believe, not Thursday night or Thursday, Friday it broke. So again, awesome news, awesome news. Now, not such awesome news. A couple more celebrities passed, people that whose work I enjoyed. One being a former WWF superstar, in my opinion, Iron Mike Sharpe. He passed away. My condolences to his family. And one of the founding members of the Eagles, Glenn Fry, he passed away. Yeah, sad news. But so yeah. Now let's see. Before I get into the Royal Rumble, let's talk about a few other things that I enjoyed. Actually, I've continued to catch up with NJPW. So this is what I've seen over the last few episodes. An excellent match where Red Dragon defeated the Time Splitters for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championships. That was from their it was from the November 8th, 2014 event. I think I've got about 6, maybe 7 episodes remaining to catch up on, including a couple of current ones. But so I'm getting there. I also really liked Taichi versus Takuchi, who's the champion for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. Taichi's entrance, really awesome. And it's also where Kenny Omega debuted as a Bullet Club member. So big ups to Kenny Omega. And then there was also a really good match between Liger and Chase Owens for the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship. Good outing for Chase, and great seeing Jushin Thunder Liger get the win and become the new World Junior Heavyweight Champion for the NWA. Then I also caught, it was part 2 of that same event, really physical, never open weight championship match between Ishii, who was the champion, and Goto. Ishii getting the win. And then an awesome IWGP IC title match between Nakamura, who was the champion, and Shibata. This is where Ibushi made the challenge, or accepted Nakamura's challenge for Wrestle Kingdom 9. Speaking of which, the next episode that I got to catch was from their December 7th, 2014 event, and they had an 8-man that kind of built up Wrestle Kingdom 9. It was Tanahashi, Ibushi, Makabe, and La Sombre versus Okada, Nakamura, Ishii, and Hashi. And Tanahashi's group got the win. And then a really good World Tag League final match between the Bullet Club's Guns and Gallows. Carl Anderson, they took on Goto and Shibata. Really enjoyed Goto and Shibata's story, as far as the fact that they've been friends since high school, and you know, and now they've known each other 20 years, and now they're getting some success in the tag team ranks. So after watching that, I watched they aired in multiple parts, like 5 parts. They aired the Wrestle Kingdom 9 pay-per-view. Now, I had seen it streaming, so the quality wasn't the best when I first saw it. So getting to see it on television with Mauro and Josh, it was it was really solid. So it was in different parts. So here's some of the highlights that I saw. The IWGP Junior Tag Team Championship match between the Young Bucks, the Forever Hooligans, Red Dragon, and the Time Splitters. Red Dragon got the win. They're the dual champs at the time with the ROH Tag Team titles as well. It was excellent, really fast-paced, showcased all 4 teams. Then a really excellent IWGP Junior Heavyweight title match between the Cleaner, Kenny Omega, and the champion, Taguchi. Kenny got the win. He, really enjoyed his entrance. In fact, on the show, well, I'll get into that in a moment. But no, actually, Kenny opened the show and ended the show, or that particular part, or that particular episode, which was great. It was different, because typically you get the Japanese stars, but it was great to get Kenny's views on things and to remain in character and whatnot. So I really enjoyed that. Next, in a rematch from the World Tag League final, it was for the IWGP Tag titles. It was, or Tag Team Championships. It was Guns and Gallows defending their titles against Goto and Shibata. And Goto and Shibata got the win. They were the new IWGP Tag Team Champions. Again, really enjoyed the story. It was great seeing Lance Archer, Davey Boy Smith Jr., Iizuka, and Sheldon X. Benjamin as they took on Yano, Shane Haste, and Mikey Nichols, those two of TMDK, and Marufuji, who at the time I think was the top guy in Noah. Thought it was a great finish from Marufuji, the Tiger Uppercut Knee. Really great post-match interview from Lance Archer. I really enjoyed the intensity of his promo. And then finally, a couple of other matches that were, I think, for the most part, episodes within themselves. You had the IWGP Intercontinental Championship match between Nakamura and Ibushi. Nakamura retained in a phenomenal match. I mean, I cannot stress how great that match is, and if you haven't seen it, you should go out of your way to check it. Ibushi's a phenomenally talented individual, and Nakamura's, if not the best, he is one of the best in the world. And in this match, he showcased a really brutal, immense respect from both guys. You could tell that they respected each other immensely, and they had immense chemistry in that ring. And then an excellent IWGP Heavyweight Championship match between Okada and Tanahashi. Tanahashi was coming in as champion, and he left as champion. Okada was the G1 Climax champion, kind of a Money in the Bank type of thing. So yeah, so that's where I'm at with it. So yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, pretty good, set of shows that I've gotten to see, and like I mentioned, I've got about 6 or 7 episodes remaining till I'm fully caught up. But I've enjoyed it. I really enjoy with them their take as far as the pre-match or pre-show stuff. When they have the talent sitting in the studio, so to speak, and they're talking to them, and the post-match or post-in-studio stuff, I really enjoy kind of getting their views on the match and what they were feeling, so on and so forth. I like the post-match press conference as well. I think that's a really nice touch. So yeah, good things, man, all around. I really enjoyed the action and the characters as I'm learning about a lot of the New Japan talent. Now, of course, they've had a little bit of a shake-up, so we'll see how it goes. And those NJPW airings, they're like 10 months old, because I want to say, or 11 months, because I think I'm into October as far as the episodes I have on my DVR. and you know, we're on Wrestle Kingdom 9, or you know, something that took place in January 2014. So so yeah, let's see what else. Lucha Underground, I think, debuts or season 2 premieres next week. I cannot wait. The trailers that they've had on Raw, or not trailers, but commercials that they've had on Raw are really excellent. Before I get into the Royal Rumble and my thoughts on it, a couple of other things. I did watch Impact from this past week, so let me give my thoughts on that. I failed to mention last week my enjoyment of the promo that set up the career versus title match between Matt Hardy and EC3. I thought EC3 was excellent, as well as Matt Hardy. I thought they were both excellent in that. I gotta say, I liked Tyrus's promo for the most part. You know, the way he kind of helped open the show, and his physicality against Jeff Hardy. I liked it. I mean, towards the end, it kind of got flubbed here a little bit as far as the promo goes, but kudos to Tyrus. I mean, he's well spoken, and I'm eager to see what comes out of it. Really enjoyed Awesome Kong and Gail Kim. I always enjoy their work. Gail Kim retained her Knockouts title. There was good stuff between the Dollhouse and the Beautiful People. A lot of like the extra stuff with the Dollhouse and the Beautiful People and how it led to the finish. I really enjoyed. Good seeing Beer Money get the win against Eli Drake and Jesse Godderz. I really liked the Angle Lashley promo. I thought it was really good. I liked the intro of Gabby. I think that was her name. I want to say she was on Tough Enough. We'll get into another Tough Enough guy here shortly. So yeah, I also like the Miracle Mike Bennett and Maria as a duo. I do like them. I like their mic work. You know, well, I know he's a talented guy, and I'm eager to see how he progresses as he goes. I know this was his debut, so we'll see. I really loved the EC3 promo. The ambulance was a great touch. How they were zoomed in on his face, and Tyrus is, you know, off in the background a little bit, but kind of out of focus, but somewhat in focus. But I thought the EC3 promo was excellent. And again, the ambulance was a great touch. Now, I've heard some people, I knew about the turn, and I knew, you know, I had heard, you know, been spoiled to Matt Hardy getting the title, but I really enjoyed the execution. I mean, you know, EC3's been on a roll for the last couple of years and been a hot heel for most of that, and being the champion and being undefeated, you know, kind of having that moniker and the way he carries himself, and I thought he was one of the best heels that they had, and he's one of the best creations for TNA. I think, you know, he's one of the few that they can really put their stamp on. I mean, not very many others. I mean, maybe you could say Beer Money. You know, you could say like an Eric Young. You know, an Abyss. You could definitely, you know, you could say Styles to an extent until he left, but EC3 really, you know, has done some great work. I really enjoyed the turn. I thought it worked on a lot of different levels, you know, especially coming out of their premiere, you know, episode on Pop. You had this feeling that a change was coming, but to pull off the double turn the way they did, to include Tyrus, which you're curious as to where that goes, because Tyrus is, you know, apparently the de facto #1 contender, because I think he won the Bound for Glory series, or Bound for Glory, and I think he's got a title shot coming. But, you know, I mean, complete with a hammer out of a diaper bag, and yeah, you know, the look of acknowledgement from EC3. You know, when Tyrus turned, and EC3 kind of looked up at Tyrus and knew, like, kind of chuckled, and you know, kind of nodded his head, and I thought his reaction was great. I thought his comeback was awesome. Crowd was into it. The crowd reaction was good. You know, congrats to Matt Hardy for becoming the TNA champion. That's a great accomplishment for him. You know, you kind of had to see it coming, especially when you throw out a career stipulation. The post-match promo was good. I kind of, EC3 had to kind of lay there until while Matt's talking and everything going on to set up the concerto, which was brutal. It's rare that you see that one. You know, you see the concertos nowadays. Looked brutal. So I mean, they've done everything in their power to do that double switch, and I thought the switch was good. I kind of probably would have waited to do the post-match promo for the next week. You could have gotten some more out of it, but I guess they really wanted to start clean in their next episode. But maybe the post-match promo, who knows? Maybe you'll do a celebratory speech next week. So we shall see. Also, let's see, NXT, which was a great showcase for all three #1 contenders. You know, Zayn getting the win over Adam Rose. This was, of course, pre-social outcasts. Rich Swann looked really he really impressed me despite the loss against Corbin. I really enjoyed Cruz and Dillinger's match. I really enjoyed Dillinger's antics. I mean, you even though it was a put-over match for Apollo, you could really tell Dillinger didn't feel like one. You know, Dillinger got in his stuff. I mean, the 10 stuff is great, and I'm a fan of his. I don't know how it would translate to the main, to WWE, to Raw, or to SmackDown, but he's really found his niche in NXT. I like the Bayley Carmella tag match against Emma with Dana and Alexa. Carmella looked great. I mean, coming in for the hot tag, and really, once she got started, she didn't stop, and she got Alexa to tap out. A really solid finisher, submission finish. Really enjoyed Joe defeating Gargano. Really thought that match was solid. So it was a great showcase for all involved. Happy birthday to R-Truth. Failed to mention that. Also, should have mentioned this at the top. A couple of other things. Again, January 30th, a new era begins at our new facility, our Performance Center, the world headquarters for Reality Wrestling. So January 30th, another, our first television taping in the new building. I'm excited to see what comes about and the new year for Reality Wrestling. And then January 31st is a fantasy camp. Rob Van Dam will be in attendance for both, I believe, but go to realitywrestling.com for further details. If you haven't gotten your tickets, you can go to realitywrestling.com to get them. Also, hopefully it will be released next week. It will be my conversation with Trey Mack of the Offshoots Network. Trey, I've been there. You have an interview or something and lose it. I had a video sit down with conversation with Abel Andrew Jackson, and I inadvertently deleted it before transferring that footage. Luckily, I had an audio backup. Use this as my audio recorder. So I was lucky that I had the audio. But so I've been there, but we did kind of a catching up of sorts, and we talked a lot about Reality Wrestling, which was great. That's slated to come out next Thursday, or this coming up Thursday. Let's see, a couple of other things. I really enjoy DC's Legends of Tomorrow. Their Time Is Now, their 30-minute thing. I have yet to see Legends of Tomorrow. I did record it. I just have yet to see it. I did see The Colony, which is on USA. I enjoyed the first episode. Haven't seen the second one. Kind gotta say, I really enjoyed the DC Films Presents The Dawn of the Justice League, really kind of letting us know about the Justice League universe. I believe that's what they're calling their cinematic universe, the Justice League universe. Man, I've seen it a couple of times. I've watched that little special of Kevin Smith with Jeff Loeb. The Suicide Squad, the new Suicide Squad trailer is amazing. The fact that it feels like a comic book come to life is all that I asked for. I cannot wait. I really liked the Bohemian Rhapsody song and, you know, playing in the background, and I'm very eager to see the movie. I'm also very eager to see Batman v Superman, and a little. I mean, you know, you hear about Sonny signing a contract to do a porn, and then apparently the porn's already been shot. But that's apparently porn. You know, you don't really need big extravagant sets or a lot of expensive equipment. So I don't know. I might see it. I mean, I'd be curious. Sonny, you know, growing up, I really, you know, she was someone I really found attractive. So, so yeah. And then a winner of Tough Enough, Josh Brendel, aka Bronson, is in hot water for disrespectful tweet, a series of tweets. But the main one was against the hashtag Social Outcast, and was quickly taken to task or blocked by WWE superstars. Just kind of a lot of people made a big deal about it. I try to tell talent, you know, watch what you say on social media, because it can always come back to bite you. You know, be wary of what you post, and realize that there's not really truly a delete button, because people can screen capture almost anything at this point, or can screen capture anything. So I always try to tell people to be mindful. And, you know, it is about respect, especially when you're new to the industry. You know, but he's young. Hopefully somebody pulled him aside. Hopefully he learns better, but who knows? This could all be an angle with social media in WWE. I mean, they tend to do stuff now utilizing social media. At this point, they don't let anybody beat them to the punch, whether it's allowing the reports to flood in about potential signings of NJPW talent, or, you know, even when a guy airs at a taping, like Austin Aries, who got signed. I believe, you know, he's been signed to a WWE contract. Kudos to him. I'm eager to see him in an NXT ring, and you're just amazed at what NXT and WWE in general are doing. So yeah. So now the Rumble. I took about as much notes as I normally take. I always enjoy the Rumbles. It's one of my favorite events that WWE puts on, mainly for the Rumble. I'm always curious as to how they put stuff together. I can't sit here and say, oh, which one's potentially my favorite. I mean, I'm like probably a lot of people that think 92 was solid because of the stipulation. But there have been others throughout the years that I've really enjoyed. I mean, this is the 29th Royal Rumble, and a very interesting stipulation with Roman Reigns being the #1 entry and having to defend the title in the actual Rumble. So it leads a lot to what they could potentially do. And of course, there's people out there trying to predict every which way and what special people are going to be out there, what what surprises they're going to have, whether it's going to be AJ Styles or certain NXT guys, Finn Balor, Hideo Itami, or Sami Zayn, or, I mean, it could, anyone could come out of the woodwork because of the stipulation. Of course, there's about 4 or 5 other matches before the Rumble, so let's talk a little bit about those. Now, there's a kickoff match. It's a tag match. I can't remember all of the combatants in said match. That is a shame. I typically don't watch the kickoff. I should. Maybe I will. Apparently the winning team will be put into the Rumble, so I could see. I think the Dudleys are one team, and they're one of the few actual tag teams in in that kickoff match, so I could potentially see them winning it just to be part of it. But we shall see. But really, the main card for the U.S. Championship, it's Del Rio coming in as champion, facing off against Kalisto, who will be getting a rematch after losing. I think he lost the title after winning it on Raw. He lost it on SmackDown, and then I think there was some shenanigans with him on Raw, I believe. So that led to them having this match. I mean, both guys, Kalisto has really impressed me, you know, ever since he debuted on NXT, and I really think Del Rio's doing some good work, especially, you know, him and Kalisto have put on some good matches. So, yeah, I'm eager to see what comes about with it. I could see Del Rio retaining, maybe with the help of the League of Nations, which could be the case. I don't see Kalisto winning, and it would have been great if Kalisto had kept the title until the Rumble, like if they'd given him a little bit of a run as opposed to immediately taking it off him. I thought there was potential there, especially, you know, the shock value and whatnot. You know, because he could have got a couple of matches with other talent, or Del Rio could have moved on to something else. Although being U.S. champion, what, you know, outside of being the world champion, what would be next? I see Del Rio retaining. Next up, for the tag team championships, the New Day will defend their titles against the Usos. You know, New Day's been a hot act ever since they debuted. Really have enjoyed their work. I think their shenanigans are phenomenal. Even the stuff with Jericho's been entertaining. I mean, to say, you know, for the most part. And the Usos, I mean, they've been involved in stuff with Reigns, but now Reigns is all, you know, in essence, all by himself, so he's fighting everyone. On the one hand, it'd be great to keep it on the New Day, and they go on to WrestleMania, and then maybe they face some team coming in. But I mean, there are a couple of pay-per-view, you know, there's another event prior to WrestleMania, I think Fastlane, I want to say Fastlane. So I could see the Usos getting it, if not just for a little bit. But I don't know, personally I'd like the New Day to retain, even though I'm a fan of the Usos, and you kind of need to pull the trigger. So probably, maybe in a shocker, the Usos get it. I'm not saying that they'll keep them till WrestleMania, because I think there might be something, you know, else. But I mean, if you wanted to do something, I don't know, because of the Rumble and the stipulation, they may not, and none of the titles may change hands. We'll just have to see. Next up, the Divas Championship. Charlotte, the champion, taking on Becky Lynch. I've really enjoyed this, especially with Ric Flair. But really, the two women have done a phenomenal job. Becky's really coming to her own. I think, you know, I want to say promo on Raw was really awesome. Especially getting under Ric Flair's skin enough for Ric to accept the challenge in Charlotte's behalf. You know, Becky's looked strong, so I could see Charlotte retaining. Really depends on what they want to do with her. Going into Mania. You know, if the idea is that she faces Sasha, she faces Bayley, or you know, again, I don't know if they would bring up Bayley that quickly, especially given that she's still the NXT Women's Champion. I have liked this feud, so I could see it continue, but gotta go with Charlotte. Last man standing match for the Intercontinental Championship. It's Ambrose, the champion, taking on Owens. I really have enjoyed this one as well. I like these two in the ring. I think they have really good chemistry. I've enjoyed the promo work between the two. You know, every little segment that they've done has been gold, in my opinion. This is a last man standing match. I could see some shenanigans as far as just kind of a quirky finish. I don't know if it'd be as quirky as Batista and John Cena, where I think John like taped Batista's legs together so that he couldn't stand up. I don't know if they'll dump. I could see them dumping the announce table. Yeah, I could see Ambrose dumping the announce table on Owens, kind of like what Reigns did to Big Show, and Owens can't get out in the count of 10. I think Ambrose would probably retain, even though a lot of people want Owens to get it so that Sammy can be bumped up into the main roster. So we'll see. But I think Ambrose, like I said, I have a feeling none of the titles are going to change hands because of the big stipulation. Because if they're going to do a title change, they may do it at the Rumble. So Reigns is #1 entry, which I thought was going to happen. Because why else would you do an all one versus all? Very intriguing stipulation. A lot of going on with the Rumble. You're curious. I mean, people have speculated, oh, Triple H is going to get in there and he's going to be the 30th entry and he's going to be the one that wins the title, so it can be Triple H versus Reigns. I don't know if you really want to go that route and have Hunter hold on to the title. I think he could screw Reigns out of the title without holding it. You know, he could be one of those guys that just eliminates Reigns, and then it leads to those two facing each other. Even though Reigns has tried to say if he loses the title, he loses his job. That's not necessarily the case. I'm curious. I mean, it has potential to be a great Rumble. I mean, a great story's in place. It is for the title. I mean, you have Brock in there. The Wyatt stuff's been really interesting. The idea that if all 4 members are in there, that they're going to work with Bray to eliminate everyone. I mean, Bray has looked strong, so God, it would be great to pull off a shocker like that, or even more shocking, someone like a Styles shows up and on his first night in he wins the heavyweight title. I don't think they would do that. Or like Daniel Bryan returns and he wins the title. I mean, there's potential. Like, the beautiful thing about the Rumble is maybe at some point you figure out how it's going to be predictable. I mean, last year's, they did everything in their power to put over Reigns, but unfortunately people wanted to see Daniel win it. You know, Daniel the last couple of years, and I'm sure there are going to be people that are going to clamor for Daniel Bryan to show up or AJ Styles to show up, and I'm curious if those will show up. I'm curious what surprises they're going to have. I'd like to see I'd like to see Bray win it because he's got that group, and they really have seemingly given him a nice little push. And the potential of him versus Brock is very interesting. I think that could be something. So I don't know, man. I really enjoy the Rumbles. I'm, for one, cannot wait for it. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. I think, yeah, that's about it. I have a lot of questions or other stuff. Hopefully in the coming weeks, I'm going to be starting to set up or scheduling sit-down conversations with a few people. I've reached out to a few. I'm going to continue to reach out to some and start putting those out, or start getting those going here pretty soon. Trying to think if there's anything else. Probably the next show next week will be review of the Rumble, and of course we'll have Lucha Underground debuting. There's a few other shows that hopefully I can catch between now and the next time that I film or record. So yeah, and if you have any questions or are there any topics you'd like me to bring up, feel free to submit your suggestions. I'm open to ideas. I definitely want to continue to put out good work and have a good topic to talk about. I could have recapped Raw and SmackDown and all of that, but I don't know. I really feel like I needed to. Now, as far as like podcasting goes, I did catch a few. I listened to Chris Jericho on the Woo Nation with Ric Flair podcast. I did like that. I did listen to Taz's when he had Mike Tenay on his show and he recapped NXT. I enjoyed that, the call-ins and whatnot. I like Solid Monsters from this past week. You know, sometimes he sounds like he's got a little fatigue, and it, you know, rightfully so. I mean, 3 hours is 3 hours. I'm not one of those guys. I think maybe I'll talk a little bit about my episode with Trey once it's, you know, kind of review that once it's out there. So be on the lookout for that. Again, subscribe to the Offshoots Network. That way you'll get my episodes when they come in, and you won't have to worry about it. You can go on iTunes or Stitcher or Beyond Pod, which is the app that I use. Still doing DDPY now. I'm trying to think anything. Oh, Vampiro on Colt Cabanas. I really enjoyed that one. And there's a few others on my... I know I'm going to probably listen to Kevin Smith's latest Fat Man on Batman. Right now they're doing... as of late, they've been doing some stuff with YouTube where they split up their podcast into 3 episodes, I believe. But speaking of that, he did have Brandon Routh... Roth from DC's Legends of Tomorrow. He plays Ray Palmer, but he was Superman in Superman Returns. It was a really good interview. Really enjoyed it. Much like I enjoyed the Vampiro interview on Colts. But back to Brandon. It's interesting that he was on Kevin's podcast, because I do recall watching Superman Returns is on, and it's one of those movies that when it's on, irregardless of where it's at, I'll end up tuning in. And I actually enjoy Superman Returns. I mean, you get kind of lost in everything else and people being critical and whatnot, but I liked it for what it was, and I thought he did a pretty solid job, especially as Clark Kent. I thought he did a really excellent job. And he does mention that his Clark Kent was way better than his Superman, but he talks about some of the stuff like filming the flying and how that's messed up his shoulders. So I listened to other podcasts. I know Serial's going to like once every couple of weeks. They're gonna put out new episodes. So really interesting time. Again, as I always, you know, I appreciate everybody's support, and as I always like to say, stay cool, stay sexy, stay classy. But hey, enjoy your time, enjoy the Rumble, just enjoy life, man. I cannot wait for what the future brings, and if you do enjoy your fun days, then you already are all those. Until the next time,